Okay, Year 10, this video is to sort of take you through the mock exam in a little bit more detail, especially steps in how to plan and how to approach the exam questions. So the exam will be an hour and 45 minutes, so that's roughly about 50 minutes on each question. Okay, there's two questions, one for Macbeth and one for A Christmas Carol. Macbeth is section A and Christmas Carol is section B. You don't have to do them in order. You could start with The Christmas Carol first if you want to for the first 50 minutes and then go to Macbeth. It really doesn't matter as long as you spend equal time on each question. Okay, so with both of the questions, the layout is very, very similar, if not exactly the same. Obviously, it's just different questions for different texts. So you'll always get an instruction to read the following from, and then for Macbeth, it will be a certain scene, act and scene, and for A Christmas Carol, it will be from a stave. Okay, so read the following extract from Act 4, Scene 1 of Macbeth, and then answer the question that follows. Read the following extract from Stave 1, then answer the question that follows. And then you'll always get a bit of background as to what is happening at that point in the text, at that point in the play, or at this point in the novel. Okay, so for this one, we've got at this point in the play, Macbeth has decided to seek out the witches. The scene opens with the witches creating a powerful spell and they prepare to meet Macbeth. So it's really important that you read that background, okay, because it just sort of positions you as to where you are in the novel or in the play, and it gives you a bit of background for the extract that you get given. Okay, first thing I like to do is actually not read the extract first, actually read the question first. Okay, because then when you go back to actually read the extract, you can read it with a bit more focus. Okay, so we're going to start with Macbeth. Starting with this scene, how does Shakespeare present ideas about the supernatural in Macbeth? So that's my question focus. Okay, I'm not being asked about the character of Banquo or the relationship between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. I'm being asked about the supernatural ideas, particularly ideas about the supernatural. Okay, for A Christmas Carol, we've got, starting with this extract, how does Dickens use the ghosts and visions as a warning to Scrooge? So the question isn't about Scrooge's transformation, or the question is not about ideas about Christmas time. Okay, we're specifically focusing on the ghosts and visions as a warning to Scrooge. Okay, so you've just got to really ask yourself some questions in terms of what do I need to know before I actually understand this question. So for the Shakespeare one, ideas about the supernatural. So for example, what does that mean? The witches, or actually are there other elements of supernatural in the play? What does supernatural actually mean? So just make sure you really clarify your understanding in terms of what the question is asking you. For A Christmas Carol here, we've got how are the ghosts used as a warning. So it's not how are the ghosts presented, it's how are they used as a warning to Scrooge. Okay, so just make sure you really understand sort of key parts of the question. Okay, notice that both of the questions say starting with. So the examiner does not want you to just write about that scene or that extract. Okay, it's starting with. So you use the extract as a starting point for a springboard to the rest of the play. Okay, that's my example of a springboard. Okay, we use the extract as a springboard to the rest of the novel. Okay, and I'll explain that. You'll understand that a little bit more as we go through. And for both questions, they give you two reminders of things they want you to write about. Okay, normally there'll be a reminder that you need to write about the scene and the play as a whole, or the extract and the rest of the novel. Okay, but read these questions carefully, because what you've got is you've got some clues and hints as to what they want you to write about. How does Shakespeare present the witches in this scene? So now I've got actually a little bit of help. So I'm writing about the supernatural. One of the things I could write about is the witches in this scene. Okay, the different ways Dickens uses the ghost of Jacob Marley as a warning. So I'm writing about ghosts and visions, but for this extract, I'm writing about how Jacob Marley is presented as a warning. So I've got a first point to start off with. And then I've also got a hint about how I need to then springboard that to the rest of the play. How does Shakespeare present ideas about the supernatural in the play as a whole?